You're listening to Family Business with Daphne. That's right. I am so excited. My goodness, family business is catching on. Well, it's quite frankly, it never left, but a few of us worldwide have decided, you know what? That feels good. That makes sense. We can do that. Why not? And so I'm glad you're here joining me today on 103.9 KDKI, because we're going to get into a very serious topic around this issue of family business. And really, this is the show for all entrepreneurs. And it has to do with collaboration. This is a hot topic for me. I've spoken about collaboration with different organizations. And when I started 2015 on my Facebook wall, I posted 2015 is the year for collaboration. If you want to get things done this year in your own personal development, in your professional development, in your family, and in your family business, you will need to collaborate. That was very clear to me. And so I posted that and got some great responses and engagement. And we all sort of intellectually accepted that. Yeah, that sounds good. That makes sense. Collaborate. Yay. And then the year progressed and the tests came and the trials came, and many of us were like, well, we don't know about collaboration anymore. Can we just get stuff done by ourselves? It's just a lot easier. You don't have to deal with the drama. You don't have to deal with the personality types, whether it's within your own family or outward with non-family members. You know, it's easy to want to just not deal with the drama and perform 20 jobs by yourself. I understand that. I take that any day, but I hope I try to be smart. And I understand that for where I want to go in life, for where I want my family to end up, trying to get things done on my own, trying to carry the weight of the world on my own shoulders, doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. And I'm sure, look, I know how to grind. So I'm sure I could grind day in and day out for the next, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, but I won't be anywhere where I aim to be. And if you know me, you know I think big. I tend to think really, really big. And so like you listening to this, if we are big thinkers and big dreamers and big believers, well, you need a team. You need to connect and collaborate with people who don't think and act the way you do, who don't constantly make you smile 24/7. So we're gonna go through this growing pain together of working with others. And I know some of you out there are like, oh, well, it's not painful for me. I love working with people and Well, good for you. Keep listening. Hopefully I'll have some tips to share with you that will help to just multiply the joys that you have with working with others. And for some of us who might find it more difficult because of the personalities and potential for conflict and all of that good stuff, even though we still love people too, there will be a lot, more tips for us. So we'll just leave it at that. So if you're new to the show, Family Business with Daphne, basically this show is about inspiring you, but also holding you accountable. Ooh, that A word, accountable, to starting your own family business. I believe firmly that through family business, we can create the positive change that we want to see in our own lives, in our families, and in our communities. It's an opportunity for us to create jobs, create wealth, develop our communities, develop our countries, escape our countries. Look, I have a global audience. And many of you know that I escaped my country before the first Civil War. So I understand that life. I understand that it is not easy for all of us, this family of listeners around the world, that there are some pressing circumstances, disease, war, poverty, separation of family, all of the social ills that you can think of. I understand and I relate. I have been there. So I don't want you to think that this family business dream is not for you. I don't want you to dare think that it's only for those of us who are blessed to be living in the West. No, it is for all of us, no matter where you live, no matter what your finances, even for those of you who are in the West, who are suffering from unemployment and living in a neighborhood that you wish you were not living in right now. Okay. So all of us, we understand. We understand the struggle. This family, you out there, you understand the struggle that you have on the one hand, living in circumstances that are not you. In your mind, in your dreams, you know it's not you. And you're climbing and trying to climb out of that through entrepreneurship and whatever it takes. It might be entrepreneurship plus 5 jobs. I've been there, done that. I understand. But you are going to do whatever it takes to get your family out of that situation, to advance your family through business, investing, and other tips and tricks you'll learn from this show. And you're going to climb out of it and you're going to soar. This is not, let's get you from out of poverty to survivorship or out of survival mode to middle class. No, this is, I don't care where you are right now. You might be a family who is sitting on piles of cash, but you still know that you're living below your full potential and you want to get even higher and transfer some serious wealth to the next generation. This show is for you. It's for everyone who says, I'm at point A and I see myself at point Z and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get myself and my family there. And you will get there and we will get there together and we'll encourage one another. And you'll find help on this show. Also, don't forget, you need to go to my blog, daphnemallory.blogspot.com, where you get to see all of my rants and hopefully instruction and strategies and tips to help you in that journey. Also on Facebook, daphne.mallory.esq. Do not forget the ESQ on Facebook, Daphne Mallory. I'm on LinkedIn. And you can find me writing for Entrepreneur Magazine, the leading publication for entrepreneurs, as well as I blog for the Huffington Post online on this topic of family business. So basically, if you Google me, you'll see me talking about this topic in a lot of spaces because there is definitely a competition going on. My idea says family business is empowering and is the way to develop families and communities, and others may not think that. I'm not even going to give them space on this show to discuss their ideas, but let's just say there's an opposite view out there, and mine is kind of different, and that's why you're here. And today, going back to this show today, we're going to talk about the C word, collaboration, working with other people to bring about your vision in the marketplace, because it's through collaborating with others that you're going to build that wealth that you seek to build for and create for your family and to transfer it to the next generation and leave legacy and develop your community. Collaboration is hard and it's very difficult for me because of the different personalities and emotions and agendas, my own past hurts and experiences, putting my trust in people to only find out that they were not, after all, interested in collaborating. They were interested in competing. I've dealt with people who were jealous. I've dealt with people who, out of survival mode, they felt that they had to do some things that were not demonstrating loyalty, shall we say, to their own character as well as what they had committed to in our relationship in terms of business. So collaboration is a touching one for me, I have to admit. And I know that many of you out there listening to this, you've had some situations personally, some past experiences that make you tend to shy away from people, to keep them at a distance, to not really collaborate with them. Be acquainted with them. Help them out every once in a while. Throw them a bone, a referral every once in a while just to show your good faith. But actually collaborate, like let people in, that is hard. But the big but here, really, to take your family to the next level and your family business, you must collaborate. You must collaborate responsibly and do it in a way that does not wreck your family. I'm not advocating at all that you let everybody in. No way. Yes, you should have some guards. Putting up some guards are absolutely appropriate and necessary in today's day and age. But there has to be balance, that when people do show that they are trustworthy, that they are loyal, that they are full of integrity, that you absolutely should be collaborating with them. And as family business owners, you should be collaborating also with other family business owners. Who are the entrepreneurs who are in your circles who are desirous of starting their own family business as well, or who have already started a family business, or maybe they're milestones ahead of you, third, fourth, fifth generation already in a family business that you need to be connecting with and collaborating with. So we'll talk about that very difficult subject now. So when I've spoken to audiences about this topic of connecting and collaboration, the first thing I point out is that the most successful family business in history started from collaborating. Can anyone guess who that is? Okay, you're thinking like, okay, what franchise? What was the most successful family business in history, right? Okay. Now, what I love about my Facebook family is that everyone knows exactly where I'm coming from. And what I love about my radio show is that my audience, you know exactly who I am. And yet you're from all different walks of life and all different religions and spiritual backgrounds. But everyone is very clear that Daphne is a Christian. She believes in God. And I believe that the most successful family business in history is the kingdom of God. That when Jesus Christ came, he came preaching this business, this family business venture. And it started with these people meeting in their homes daily, teaching one another and collaborating. And that's how that movement moved forward. No different in family business, no different in collaborating. Who are you connecting with on a daily or regular basis, sharing meals together, learning together, and growing together? That was the early church model, and it worked. And I suggest as entrepreneurs, that's a model to look at. How are you using hospitality? Whoa, wait a minute. Did they teach hospitality in business school? What? Is that in a textbook? Hospitality for $1 billion growth? Yes. And there are different ways that corporations today are using hospitality to connect and collaborate, but they're not calling it that. For instance, do you know what a lunch and learn program is? Well, what is that? Well, you're getting together, you're sharing a meal, and you're learning something together. So someone slapped a new term on it and they called it lunch and learn. Back in the day, it was called hospitality. There's no difference. So how can you use hospitality as a basis and a mechanism to collaborate with others in your organization? So, for instance, if you're the established family business owner, you've got a brick and mortar business, you've got a lunchroom, how can you leverage that space and to make it an opportunity to connect and collaborate? Institute a lunch and learn program, or I'll just keep call it hospitality. Have a lunch hour where you invite your team to come and sit down, have a meal, and invite a speaker, a trainer, a leadership member of your current team, just some outsider that you find to be motivational, your local pastor. Did you know that a pastor was invited to Google to speak on the topic of marriage? Google invites a pastor to come in and speak on the topic of marriage. Well, how can you repeat that with this idea of hospitality and lunch and learn? Bring people in to talk about all sorts of issues. Yes, it could be technical. It could be related to the actual business. It could just be academic, just to stimulate thinking. It could be something completely different to stimulate creativity. Not that I endorse this, but some companies do bring in magicians and illusionists. They bring them in and then they connect it to business building, basically trying to get their people to stir them up and to get them thinking creatively. Some people do yoga. Now, they're not doing it during the lunch part of it, obviously, but the point is, how can you leverage a lunch and learn situation to encourage your people and to cause them to grow and to cause them to collaborate? During one of these sessions, you don't have to stand in the front of the room and point down to them. You know, these are nice and short and sweet. And most of it really is about those around the table getting together now and talking and having a discussion and brainstorming and talking about application based on the speaker. You can make it fun. You can offer prizes, et cetera, et cetera. This is going on in a lot of organizations now, recently. And it's perfect. It is perfect for family business, especially for the family itself. So this is not just for, our family puts this on for the non-family members. Hey, you all as a family unit can put it on for yourself. You can go and seek out other lunch and learn programs being held by other organizations in your community. But what a great way to collaborate. So lunch and learn programs, I call it hospitality. Any opportunity you get to sit down and share a meal with someone and learn together is perfect for connection and collaboration. Now, another tool to help you do more collaborating this year. And this is where some people leave me. They're like, okay, we like the eating part. This part we don't know about. How many phone calls are you willing to make on a daily basis just to connect with someone so that in the future you can collaborate with them? My number is 20. I try to make 20 phone calls a day to someone in my network. Okay, 20 different people. And in future shows, when I talk more about sales, I could definitely go more into that. But what's your number? How many people are you willing to touch base with by phone? Not by direct messaging on Facebook, not by emailing, not by faxing, not by sending a letter. Actually picking up the phone and calling someone and trying to reach them to have a conversation, voice to voice with them. What's your number? Mine is 20. What's yours? 5? I don't think you should go below 5. I know it's uncomfortable. Especially in the social media driven world that all of our businesses are touching perhaps somehow. And even if you're not online extensively, you can hide behind emails and letters and, big crowd functions. But to actually seek out 5 people on a one-on-one basis, well, that's just uncomfortable. I understand, but you got to do it. If you want to be competitive, and I suggest that those who are seeking to collaborate in a genuine way, in a smart way, in a strategic way, that's going to be your competitive advantage. It's always been mine. That's exactly how I get things done. By making those phone calls, by seeking to connect and collaborate in ways that are not just online, but offline. That person-to-person connection is so important. So I challenge you today, pick your number. 5, don't go below 5 a day. 5 days a week. You can start there. I'm going to try to connect with 5 people 5 days a week so that I can build that relationship and we can find opportunities to collaborate. Start within your existing database. And sad to say, for some of you who are well off the ground and have employees, you might need to just start with your employees, including your family members. Ouch. Yes, it's the truth. You may need to start with your existing team, and instead of a phone call, maybe you need to just, walk over to their area there and sit down with them, invite them to lunch or a coffee or something and talk to them one-on-one. But then beyond that, are there opportunities for joint venture partners and nonprofits and whomever in your community, in your circle of influence that you need to be connecting with, so that there might be an opportunity to collaborate? Absolutely. You have to do that. And here's some other things that you might look at: your past clients list. Who have you done business with in the past? And can you call them? Now, if you can't call them, you need to be very clear and honest with yourself as to why. Why can't you call your past clients that you've worked with? Obviously, if you're just starting out, you have no past clients. Great. For those of you who have been in business, though, and have done some work, why can't you call your past clients? You need to do a real assessment. Did I deliver bad products and or services? Was I not on time? Did I not show myself to be someone of integrity? Did I produce too much conflict? On and on and on. That's an opportunity to learn. And I still challenge you to call some of those people. You may not be able to call all. You may not want to, but it's an opportunity to get really honest, and it's an opportunity perhaps to salvage past relationships that are broken. Take that opportunity. Now, here's another exciting tip that I'm sure you'll just love me for, in addition to the phone calls tip I just shared. I want you to get in front of 20 people weekly. Every week, I want you to try to get in front of 20 people, 20. Okay? And I want you to share your message with them. Now, you can do this the easy way, or you could do it the more difficult way. Here's the easy way. You find yourself, of course, you don't just find yourself, you're doing work to do this, but you are in front of 20 people at once. So you're delivering a speech, you're giving a talk, you're standing up and introducing yourself and your services, your message, you're on television, you're doing a video for YouTube, you're doing a radio show like mine, you're doing something where you are touching 20 people. That's the easy way to get this done. The more difficult way is to try to, I guess, get to 20 people one-on-one. Not the phone calls now, talking about in-person, one-on-one. So, well, how do you do this then? In addition to the video opportunity or radio opportunity or speaking, introducing yourself, you're giving a speech. You're becoming a public speaker. Yes, I'm so popular in your mind right now, I know. Why is public speaking the number one fear that people have? I love it, but I understand it really can be a fearful thing for some of you who are listening. And so I want you to overcome that, though, because that fear is standing in the way of you building wealth for your family and changing your family history and building something that will transfer to the next generation. So in light of all of that, public speaking just needs to be diminished. The fear of it needs to be diminished completely, because you can secure a great future for your children, for your siblings, for your aging parents, for children to come, on and on and on. So let's just get rid of that fear. But I know that's easier said than done. So here's some other tools and tricks. There are some organizations, perhaps in your community, and if not locally accessible to you, definitely online, that you can go and be a part of so that you can learn to hone in your public speaking skills. There are so many. I don't want to name any one of them and single out the others, because as a public speaker myself, I am definitely a part of organizations and I do not want to leave anyone out, but you can figure it out. I want you to go and find a group where their sole mission is to help you improve your public speaking skills, either professionally or just as education and training. It's going to be very, very important for you to do that so that you can get used to speaking to others who can perhaps critique you, evaluate you, give you meaningful feedback, and you can continue to improve your skills. So there are some groups that say, we'll meet on a weekly basis during a lunch hour, and you will come prepared to give a speech once a month or however that rotation takes place. Once you give your speech, we'll evaluate you. Perhaps you'll tape your speech and you get to watch yourself and evaluate yourself as well, et cetera, et cetera. So those are those opportunities. There are other organizations that say, we value you as a professional speaker because you're already speaking on behalf of your current employment, or it's part of your marketing strategy. We want to help you take that to the next level. And so you can network with other professional speakers, get professional training, et cetera, et cetera. And there are very informal groups. There are peers that say, hey, tape yourself speaking and send me your video link on your YouTube channel and I'll critique you. I'll give you feedback. And so it's up to you. There's no excuse, obviously, because even if you cannot afford to join a group, because some groups will charge to be a part of their organization, some groups pre-qualify you. I'm a part of a group where only professional speakers can belong to it, and you have to do X amount of speaking engagements per year to be considered a professional speaker. And so there are some groups that will that you may not be able to qualify for at this time due to money or experience. But then, hey, you can just informally gather up 2 or 3 peers and say, I would like to submit my speech to you, my sales presentation, my whatever to you. Please critique it. Give me your honest feedback. And then you continue to improve in that on a daily and weekly basis. Public speaking. It is so key for connecting and collaborating. And if you let that fear of public speaking get in the way of you building wealth for your family, I will have a problem with you. So I will be your accountability partner on that one. You can do it, and don't let the fear of public speaking stop you whatsoever. Now, another way that you can connect with people and collaborate with them is to have stories ready to tell. People disengage when you go on and on about your family business, your products and services. It really, especially in the first meeting or so, it's like, okay, great, that's what they do. What you want to do is engage people through telling stories. What is your family story? What is this family business really about? Why are you doing it? It is so key, because the first step to collaboration is connecting. And the way people connect is that they connect through stories. So what is your story? Do you have your story ready to go, or do you just kind of make it up on the spot? And it changes depending on who you speak to. No. What you need to do is really sit down and give some serious thought and development to your story, so that when people say, what do you do? Or what is this about? Who is your family? Why are you doing this? This is all ready to go in a story, so that that person you're talking to is sold, whether that's the next potential partner that you would like to collaborate with, whether it's a media outlet that you would like to collaborate with, a potential customer, a client that you would like to collaborate with, to get to their circle of influence so that you can continue to market your services, or perhaps they become a referral source to you. People want to connect and collaborate with you through stories. It does matter. First of all, you should absolutely have stories ready to go for your sales presentation. We're all selling something. We're selling ideas, products, services, lifestyle, on and on and on. You're selling something. So what are the stories behind that? Do you have those ready to go? Now, if you don't know what I'm referring to, or if this just hit you, if you've never heard this before, definitely go to my blog, daphnemallory.blogspot.com, for more information about selling, or just contact me directly there as well. I'd be happy to work with you one-on-one. Storytelling has been key to collaborating with me and for others who I've sought collaboration with. So I don't go to them and say, my name is Daphne Mallory. I'm an attorney. I'm a this, I'm a that. Here's what I've done. Here's my expertise. Oh my goodness. Eyes would roll. Okay. What makes you different from the 100,000 people that email me or cold call me on a daily basis? No, I start with my story. I'm an immigrant entrepreneur. My story begins in Liberia, West Africa, one of the poorest countries in Africa to date. I've lived in 3 countries because I went from Liberia and then to London and then to the U.S. And when I came to the U.S., I started with nothing in a low-income neighborhood next to a brothel on a drug-ridden street. I was one of the few in my class in high school to get accepted to an Ivy League university at Brown. And while I was there, I was determined to change my family tree. Ended up working 3 jobs, had 3 majors, graduated, and got accepted to medical school, on and on and on and on. I tell my story, and that's been the way for people to connect with me, because perhaps they have faced a similar family struggle, a struggle for wanting to improve their circumstances, perhaps being, as is a typical immigrant story, being separated from family in different continents because of visas and the whole system, and waiting for everything to work out so that one day everyone would be reunited. Whatever it is, something is in your story that will connect to someone. And once they connect, then they will have the emotions and the heart and the mind to really want to collaborate with you. You have to sell that first. You've got to get the heart and the mind in with you to really form a true collaboration. Absolutely. And so, what is your story? If someone said, what is your story? Could you really do it in 60 seconds? Now, I know the elevator pitch is 30 seconds or less. If you're stuck in an elevator with someone, can you boil down your business to 30 seconds or less before they got off the elevator? I guess I have a different approach. I want them in the elevator. I want to tell them a story. I want them to say, hey, can you get off this elevator stop with me and tell me more, because I'm so engaged and intrigued. And in fact, let's just go over there to dinner for the next hour and just keep telling me your story. So I kind of blow out the elevator pitch. I'm not even sure what I could possibly say anymore in an elevator pitch because I'm so complex and my family is so complex. So I'm sure the elevator pitch, I'm not okay for all of my MBA listeners and, by the book business people. I am not downplaying elevator pitches all around. I'm just saying for families, for family business owners, have a different opportunity that we just say, we get them so engaged and connected to our family story that they don't even want the elevator pitch. They want to take us, over for dinner and to sit down, and they want the whole thing. So that's my approach with family business and the elevator pitch. Now, it's very important also when you want to collaborate with others in a meaningful way, we have to deal with this topic of trust. Okay, look, I tell people, on a personal and professional level, do not gossip. The moment I sense or smell gossip, whether it's about myself or my family, we are done. I have a kind of black and white rule about that. I'm just done. Because gossip to me says that this person is not loyal. And I'll leave you to your judgment on that. Maybe some of you said, that's too harsh, and I'm fine with gossip. But I have seen gossip in all arenas of my life, whether that's socially, from a community perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from just friendships, but specifically to business, it is very destructive. And loyalty is so key to collaboration. And so when you are seeking to collaborate with people, you have to test. You have to test and gauge the level of discretion. Now, we have legal paperwork for that. We call it a non-disclosure agreement. I mean, lawyers will make you sign exactly everything I just said. We know how to put legalese on that and call that a non-disclosure agreement, which basically says anything you learn about me during this relationship, during this time, within the confines of this agreement, you are not allowed to share that with anyone else. So lawyers know, and we put it in a legal agreement. I'm not sure why some other people might have an issue with that or find difficulty with that. But in order to collaborate with people, if you want people to collaborate with you, don't be a gossiper. Keep your mouth shut. I don't know of any other polite way to say it, and I don't think I should be polite about that fact. I have seen gossip ruin business relationships and ruin opportunities to collaborate. If you're connecting with someone, then you have to share secrets. Did you know that you've got some business secrets? What is she talking about? As a family business owner, you will have business secrets. Okay? You will have specific strategies that you use that are unique to your business. You will have systems and procedures that you use that you don't want your competitors to know. And, you know, in the business world, we call this trade secrets. But you're going to have some other secrets too as a family business. You don't need the world to know about your family drama as you are trying to build a family enterprise. And there may be drama because you're building a family enterprise. And you don't need your competitors to know that. You don't need the world to know that. You don't need the community to know that. You need to work it out, and perhaps sometimes with counseling. But if you have people on your team that gossip, that could bring down your family enterprise. That could release trade secrets to your competitors. Be very, very careful. And you should absolutely make this a top priority. Loyalty. Loyalty is a top priority, is a necessity for collaboration. I will not collaborate with people that I find to be disloyal. And one of the easiest tests to find out whether or not someone is loyal is, are they a gossiper? Do they gossip? Now, let me just turn that around. How about you? Are you a gossiper? Are you destroying potential future relationships, future partnerships, future joint ventures with people because they don't trust you? And they don't trust you because they don't find you to be loyal. They don't find you to be loyal because you are a gossiper. Yeah, you get together with them and you trash people and you gossip and you talk about them and da-da-da-da. And they sit there politely, and they smile. And then they check. Just make that mental check in your mind. You know what? I will never say a word to that person. I will never really let them in on my team, and I would never truly collaborate with them. Loyalty. Don't gossip. I hope I made myself clear. By the way, you are listening to Family Business with Daphne on KDKI 103.9 FM. As you can tell, we talk about everything. as it pertains to starting and growing your family business. Everything, dynamics, communication, gossip, whatever it takes to move your family forward to the next level, to create that wealth you're looking to create. I'm going to keep it real on this show. I'm going to bring you guests that keep it real. I myself will keep it real. And I'm going to be brutally honest because I want you to succeed. I want you to have the truth. And I want you to have the tools and strategies and street smarts to get this done. Some of these things you will not learn in a textbook. I went to really, really good schools, really high-ranking schools. I love my educational experiences. But I also went to another school, and that was the School of Hard Knocks. I learned how to be street smart. And having both, street smarts and book smarts, has made me the entrepreneur I am today and will continue to help me to succeed. And I want to give you real information to help you. And so a real tip is, hey, don't hang around with gossipers and don't collaborate with them. Next. Next tool for collaboration. Have an opportunity to educate and or train with others. Is there someone in your community, in your circle of influence, in your industry that you can teach with? That you can come together and say, we will lead a seminar together. We will lead a webinar, a Google Hangout. We will do a video series on X topic. And that will be a way for us to collaborate. Well, every one of you should have nodded and said, yes, I can think of this person. I can think of these 10 people, etc. If you could not think of anyone, you need to go and do more research. No matter what the idea is, there is someone out there that you can train with, be a co-trainer with, a co-teacher with. And here's the benefit to you. If you are new to this, if you just woke up last week and heard my program and said, hey, I want to do family business, but I know 0 people or I have 0 customers. Well, there's someone else in a different position out there in your industry, in your field. And they have access to people, and perhaps you can train with them. You can be a co-trainer, a co-seminar leader, co-teacher, a guest teacher, and you can reach their audience. Now you're thinking, wait. Collaborate. Aren't we talking about collaboration? Did we just switch over to competition? Why would someone want to do that with me? Wouldn't they be afraid that I would steal their customer base or their clients, etc.? Well, sure. There's some people that will say, no, we're not collaborating, because the minute I put you in front of my people, they might, see you're smarter or, more competent or have new creative ideas, and they might just follow you. And I would never want to do that. Yes, you will have some people like that. There are other people, however, who say, you know what? Here is how I build my business. I facilitate. I bring experts in and give them access to my people. My people are blessed and well benefited because they've got this new expertise and this new way of presenting the same old information, or they've got a new angle that I've never thought about. And my people are happy because they're learning and growing, and they have access to new products, services, and ideas that I don't have the ability to give them on my own. So here you go. You have access to them. And the benefit to me is that I get maybe a cut of that, or my customers and clients go, wait a minute, I really appreciated that connection or that person referring me. And wow, that's my go-to person. I have even more loyalty now for that person. And so being a facilitator is smart. Being the one that is connecting your clients and customers to a new expert and making sure that all of their needs are met through you making those connections. That's brilliant. That's powerful. And it takes some sense of security. Secure people do that. Insecure people, no. You don't have access to my people. It's all me. It's my thing. That's it. Me. Secure people, smart people, entrepreneurs, they say, hey, why should I do all the work here? Why did I just be the connector and connect great people to my people? And they in turn see that I am out to meet their needs, and they in turn are even more loyal. And it's just a cycle, and it goes on, and everyone wins, win-win. Yeah, that's how smart entrepreneurs get it done. So you need to find those people to collaborate with. And at some point, you need to be that person who does that for others, who becomes that great connector to others. And you will become that trusted advisor, that go-to person. And that is powerful. That is powerful. It's brilliant. When you are the trusted advisor in your industry, in your marketplace, that's true power. So don't fear that. Don't fear being the collaborator, and don't think that you don't have those opportunities because that person is already making so much money or already has X amount of followers. No. What you need to do is distinguish yourself from all of the other entrepreneurs who may get that idea as well and strategy. And well, then how do you rise to the top among the competition in that way? So that is how you get that done. Become the connector and or find connectors and collaborate and say, hey, let's co-present on this new topic that you may not have an expertise in. For instance, some people have done that with me. You know, Daphne, I don't have legal expertise in this area. So will you come to my audience and kind of talk about some legalese as it pertains to this area? And it benefits my people in that, okay, they can get some legal basics. Of course, I do not advise their audience, but I give them legal basics that they can go and research further. And it helps their people go, wow, I'm so glad I'm connected to, I'm in business with, I'm the client of that person because they brought this lawyer on who was able to give me some legal information that I could now go and discuss with my own attorney or do more research on, etc. I wonder who else, this person is going to bring to us because they are connecting us to all of these resources. Yeah, people are doing this. It works. It's called collaboration. And what would the benefit then be to me going on those programs? Well, I've just put myself and my expertise in front of this group of people who may want to follow up. They may contact me. I might offer something, in this collaborative relationship. I may offer a resource that I'm selling at a discount. But now that group, I have a new market, customer base that I didn't even market to. I just said, hey, I'm an expert. Let me come over here. And the person who brings me on gets a cut. Hey, or just a discount, whatever the relationship is, whatever is worked out. But the point is everyone benefits and it's win-win and it's being done and you need to do it too. You need to get out of the box of I'm on my own. I can do this alone. I can't trust nobody, so I'm just going to do it on myself. And I can't find good people. And there are no good people where I live. And no one thinks like me where I live. And I'm all alone. And, on and on and on and on. And I can say all of that because guess what? I have thought those. I understand. Been there, done that. And then it took me a while to go, this workhorse thing is not really working the way I envisioned it. And maybe there is a smarter way to do business. Oh, what was that teamwork thing called again? Team building that I have known all of my life. What is that again? So before you burn yourself down to the ground, let me just inspire and encourage you now. Be smart. Connect and collaborate with other people. That's the name of the game in 2015. I'm going to leave you with a final thought on collaboration. So we've talked about making sure that you have the right people, the non-gossipers, people you can trust because you're going to share family secrets, trade secrets, on, everything that surrounds a family business owner. And I explained to you that, hey, there's even a legal agreement for that. It's called a non-disclosure agreement. In other arenas, it might be called a confidentiality agreement. It's the same thing. It's, hey, don't gossip about me so I can be free to share my life with you so that we can get things done and both be rich. It's done in a legalese kind of way, though. And the other thing about collaboration is, hey, use a lunch and learn format, whether that's at your own place of business. Perhaps it's out in a community. You may not have a warehouse, a office space. You could just go rent a community room and get this done on a monthly basis. And that could be a way to have a lunch and learn program where you're bringing in expertise and experts who could share fun or knowledge or skill building. And then you get to sit around other people, enjoy a meal and learn and grow together. What a great opportunity to collaborate. Or you could do these joint venture relationships where there's a joint venture partnerships where you're going on as an expert in front of other people's existing audiences, especially when you're starting from ground zero. You don't have your own email list or mass audience or mega platform, but you have an expertise, a story, or a knowledge base that someone else could use for their people. And so you get invited on and you're making your 20. Okay. 20 is just my number. 20 phone calls a day. It could be 5 phone calls a day to personally connect with people, voice to voice or face to face, FaceTime, Google Hangout, Skype, whatever your preference is. But that is today's competitive advantage. Hello. That person to person touch. Oh my goodness. You will immediately stand out if you really focus on that. So those have been some of my tips and tricks for collaboration. Okay. Now, let me ask the question. Hopefully you took notes on that. And if you need more information and tips and strategies, you need to go to my blog, daphnemallory.blogspot.com. I have a YouTube channel, Family Business, and you can also find me on Facebook at daphne.mallory.esq. Just in case, you weren't taking notes during this time. Perhaps you were driving or at work or running your business or listening to this with, kids in both arms. I understand. That's how I get a lot of my training that I do. I'm, plugged into a headset and multitasking with different family or house chores activities. So I get that. But I want you to take a moment and I want you to commit to one of those ideas that I've just presented. What are you going to do? Are you going to do a lunch and learn? Are you going to make phone calls every day to connect? Are you going to get rid of the gossiper in your circle or stop being the gossiper in your circle? Are you going to reach out to potential partners in your industry, in your business, in your arena? What are you going to do? What are you committing to? I want you to be very serious. This is a serious matter we're talking about in terms of family business. And to take it seriously, you actually have to commit and you need to get it done. And I am encouraging you to do just that. Well, you've been listening to Family Business with Daphne on 103.9 KDKI. It is always a pleasure spending this time with you, sharing thoughts with you. And I want you to know, stay tuned. You are absolutely going to be getting a string of interviews with family business owners that have been very successful in their enterprises, but also some newbie family business owners. And we're going to do sort of a consulting on air show where I just get to talk to them and ask them questions and counsel them along the way. We're definitely going to be having lots of fun and lots of engagement, but I want to encourage you to continue pursuing this. I understand family business is a fight. It is a fight. It is the fight of your life. I respect that and I honor you and encourage you for getting this done. You keep on keeping on, and I'll be with you right here next week, same time.